This episode is in loving memory of Linda Rector, my beautiful mum.
I don't understand where I fit in.
Friends of Dorothy, Episode 9, Mum's the Word, by David Rector. On the edge of your seat? Don't fall off. Here's a quick summary.
So, no progress today on the fuse front?
No, despite assurances, no one showed up. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I have to head into uni tomorrow to submit the assignment I have so far only penned the first sentence for. It will be an all-nighter for me for sure.
Can Simon hold the fort?
Would you leave the house in the hands of a psychic cross-dresser? I have an announcement.
Well, don't keep us in suspenders.
William has agreed to stay on for a trial period. He'll sleep in the divider in the lounge and will keep his belongings in what will now be Simon's room. Everyone, especially you, Mikey, leave him be. No teasing, no taunting, no cajoling. We treat him as we want to be treated. We look after our own kind. Got it?
Got it, Steph. Gather around, my little cherubs. Well, as you know, I have no children. But these past months I've come to regard you as my very own, and I thank you for allowing me into your treehouse. So, I will come and babysit the house for when those fellas come to fix the fuse. Okay? Done deal.
Now, Viv, please, please, please ensure that you do not reveal that there are 4 people living here. We have just 3 housemates. I don't care which 3 you choose, 3, okay? Crucial, vital, paramount.
They have to get up early in the morn to pull one over old Viv.
So, I'm hoping to find Stephanie.
I'm sorry, she is out at the moment, but I can speak for her. I'm in charge here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry you have me at a bit of a disadvantage. I'm Sylvia.
I know who you are. You've taken your time.
It's 9:30. You seem to be expecting me.
Well, at some point, yes. It's been a while.
Really? I only decided this morning to pop in.
Well, you're here now.
Good morning. Is Steph home at the moment?
Well, somebody's popular today. And you are?
Margaret Barnett, the estate agent handling this property. I've brought the electrician and his apprentice to replace the power board.
Viv is dumbstruck. She looks to Sylvia, then to Margaret, then balances herself against the kitchen counter.
You'll have to forgive me. Oh, I think I've stepped in it. A lot of it. A paddock full.
Not on the carpet, I trust. May we come in? I don't know you, but I assume Steph is not here.
I'm sorry she is out at the moment. But I can speak for her. I'm in charge here. Vivian.
Margaret opens the fly door to let the 2 men in.
I repeat, this has been most illuminating.
Sorry, that was not a quick summary. And now we pick up from where we left off. 1 awkward hour later. Viv still looks dazed from her earlier interchange. Sylvia is in the nook making tea. Margaret sits in the courtyard smoking a cigarette, calling out to the electrician and apprentice as they come and go through the house.
Can you go a little quicker, thanks?
I trust you are not referring to me.
No, to those 2 alleged tradesmen.
Viv puts her head in her hands.
Why didn't you stop me earlier?
I was curious as to whom you thought you were speaking.
But why didn't you tell me who you were?
I tried, but you seemed to be under a specific impression. And what you had to say was undeniably fascinating, if not fanciful. I was grappling with the idea of Mikey as Lothario, and my daughter wearing gowns and a boyfriend.
At this rate, I'll have reached retirement age by the time you pills have completed the job.
Neither a watched kettle boils nor a pair of spied sparkies perform their task, Miss Barnett.
Mrs. actually.
How delightful, I'm sure.
I was just trying to protect the kids from potential harm. I got the wrong end of the stick as usual. There was a load of codswallop.
Not entirely. I sense there was a good deal of truth in and amongst your prosaic chatter.
Oh, I can see where Steph gets her character from.
You are very observant. We are too much alike.
Pete, 22, wanders past and meekly approaches Sylvia and Viv.
Ah, what is it now?
Excuse me, miss. May I use the loo, please?
We're both misses and neither of us live here.
Of course you can, young fella, through there.
The tradie sheepishly darts to the bathroom. Margaret bursts into the living room, having put out her cigarette.
Is he slacking off again?
No, just using the convenience. Nature calls.
This job is taking way too long already. Time is money, and the owner is tighter than a fish's proverbial.
Well, these young people have been terrified of boiling an egg in case the house blows up.
I know, but I have to tell you there's an epidemic of electrical proportions in our rentals right now. Half my listings need overhauls. My hair went grey overnight.
Pete nervously heads back to the laundry. Doug, 25, is there.
Doug, an ETA. We have to visit 5 other properties this morning. Tick-tock.
At least another hour, love.
I am most certainly not your love.
Okay, at least another hour, mates.
Do I look like your mate? Mrs. Barnett to you?
I think she most decidedly is not anybody's mate. You'd have to pity Mr. Barnett.
Less ping, more wiring, or there'll be some firing. Oh, I need another fag.
I see I'm not the only one having a bad day.
Sylvia pulls up a stool and joins Viv with the mugs of tea. Not long after, in the courtyard, Margaret has her eyes on Doug and Pete as they come and go. Sylvia and Viv join her. Margaret fidgets as she smokes.
Are you sure caffeine was the right beverage?
Oh, it's fine. I've only had 7 this morning.
Viv looks at her watch comically, eye-rolling. Pete cautiously approaches the courtyard and Margaret.
Dougie needs to zip to the hardware store.
Oh, for crying out loud! He has an entire ute filled with nuts, bolts, and a million spools of crap. What could he possibly be missing?
An extra panel. What was there isn't enough to power a washer and a dryer and the rest. Yeah.
Oh, if he had a brain, he'd be dangerous. Oh, another delay. Okay, so what can you be doing?
He could be helping me get the job done instead of answering your dopey questions. Sheila shouldn't be in charge. Yakety, yakety, yak.
I won't be spoken to like that. I'll ensure you never work for this agency again.
Suit yourself, Dale. There's plenty of others who want Sparkies like me. I reckon you need me and Pete.
Pete and I.
Sorry, Mrs., but Dougie and I are a team, and we should get back to it. I can't afford to make waves she might blow her top.
So you'd better not use any more appliances.
One more flush of the toilet could be the end.
Loos don't run on electricity.
I was just taking the piss. Get it? Toilets?
Okay, back to work. You're costing me way too much to stand around and just chit-chat.
Yes, Mum.
Pete leaves the courtyard as if he'd been dismissed.
Oh, honestly, good help is just impossible to find.
Sylvia and Viv look at one another, hiding their smiles. In the kitchen, Pete is filling a plastic bag from a brush and pan as Simon enters the house. He walks towards Pete. Simon studies him. Doug clocks their interactions suspiciously.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. You?
Fine. I think I'm in the right house.
We're still fixing the wiring.
Ooh. I'm sensing some very frayed edges here.
Yeah, it needs some more branch circuits.
No, I meant energetically, with people here.
That would be my mother. She's out there.
It feels like she's very out there.
We'll be another hour or two. It's a big jobby. I'm sorry.
Don't be. I'm Simon. What do they call you?
Buffhead, mostly.
Well, just Pete.
Not just Pete. Pete.
Okay. Can you tell which one is my mother?
Take your pick. They're all mothers. Clucking away. One of them will lay an egg for sure.
Can you not refer to females that way, please?
Oh, you're one of those, are you?
Leave it, Dougie.
Pete, I think the lady whose vibration is vibrating is your mum.
Okay.
I don't know the other woman. Oh, the third is our neighbour. But I live here. We should get out of the way of Douglas and his darkly astral subplanetary aura. He is transmitting the most unsafe signals.
I'm not a Douglas, but I could flip you a signal or two you wouldn't like.
No need. I'll put a hex on you first.
Dougie, we better not muck around.
No dilly-dallying, Pete!
Everywhere I look. Mummy's boys.
Doug returns to his task. Pete looks nervous and gets busy. Simon waves his arms dramatically, reciting an incantation.
Unana haya, unana haya haya, haya.
Oh!
Doug jams a finger at the base of the cupboard and its hinge.
Oh! I'll do you for a salt fairy, Floss.
I didn't come within 5 feet of you. Happily.
What did you do to Dougie?
I did nothing. Literally. I used a pop song.
Viv and Sylvia re-enter the lounge.
Simon, this is Mrs. Longman, Steph's mum.
What do you do, dear?
Oh, he gives advice on future matters.
Like financial planning?
Among other things, he's very handy and has excellent insight. He's good at making predictions and has visions. A vision.
Most eclectic set of skills. You're dressed very informally.
His clients prefer it, don't they?
Does he talk or use extrasensory perception?
Yes. To both, actually. And this is Pete. And that's Douglas.
Nice to meet you.
Boys, you've been hard at work. Would you like a nice cold drink? I've got a homemade brew of orangeade. I'll just duck next door to get it.
Oh, thank you. We don't get a break, so yes, please.
Nothing for Douglas. He's already had his. And if he hasn't, he will. Very soon.
Peter, don't disturb these people, will you?
Oh, he's not making a disturbance.
Psst. I must warn you, Pete. Viv's a gem. But don't expect anything orange in her orangeade.
Back in the courtyard, Sylvia and Viv are sitting chatting. Doug and Pete are still toiling in the laundry. Simon perched in the nook, watching.
Sylvia, can I ask you to just keep between us what happened this morning? Steph would never forgive me if she knew what a cock-up it was.
You're a bit afraid of her too, aren't you?
Just a little. But I like her enormously.
I can tell. She's lucky to have you. They all are. And yes, mum's the word.
Some commotion in the living area alerts Viv and Sylvia that Steph has returned.
Oh, I think I've made enough mess for one day. Or, as Steph might say, oy vey.
But it has been very nice to meet you, Vivian.
My friends call me Viv. You've got a fine girl there, Sylvia. Hang in there. Enjoy her.
My daughter and I have our struggles. You know, she often says, I don't know who she is. And I don't. But now I understand how much that responsibility lies with me, not with her.
So this morning wasn't a complete disaster.
Viv touches Sylvia's shoulder, then departs, passing Steph, who enters the courtyard tentatively.
Mama, how thoroughly delightful of you to be so spontaneous with your presence.
There's that ever so slightly elevated and crisp tone to your voice, Stephanie.
Perhaps what you're hearing and seeing is the result of chronic sleep deprivation. That, and you chose an inopportune time to visit.
Is it ever opportune? You eschewed my numerous attempts to coincide with you, so I took matters into my own hands. And here I am.
Can we lay down our arms just long enough to
Is that how you perceive us? Being in combat?
Don't you? We spar, we joust, we fence.
Well, you can be a smidge defensive. Okay, I too can occasionally veer into that realm. But there's a lot about you I simply do not know. Vivian was an absolutely and...
Please don't necessarily pay heed to anything that Viv might have said. She means well, but...
I would say that Vivian is a most adroit and empathic person to have in your corner. I think we could all do with someone of her caliber. Have no fear, she said nothing untoward. Quite the opposite, in fact.
I wanted to come over, but it's been full on.
Well, fix yourself a pot of that vile liquid you call herbal tea, make me a coffee, and I want to hear all about your travails.
If you gave herbals a go, you might just like them. They can really cleanse the palate.
So will a glass of Chablis, but it's a tad early for that. Or is it? I do miss our banter.
Steph grins as she leaves the courtyard. Sylvia watches her. Later that day, the living room. Mikey and Steph are on the sofa, William the armchair, and Simon is using the chest expander, wandering around.
So we're definitely fully powered up now.
Yes, I cautiously tried a few things at once.
You're sharing your life story again.
The apprentice electrician assured me it should now be able to comfortably handle all the bigger appliances that we have.
You certainly hit it off with Pete. He's a spunk. And if I think so, then he really must be a bit of all right.
You might say sparks were flying.
Hey, I do the double entendres in this house.
He was quite sweet. Oh, but that mother of his! I could feel her aura from down the street.
She was so angst-ridden she could have fired up the washer and dryer on her own steam.
How was it with your mum, Steph?
You know, it was a little better. Normally it is dueling at 20 paces, but we had a real conversation in the courtyard.
There's not 20 feet out there anyway.
I wonder if Viv had something to do with it. They seem to be having a grand old time.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. I just need to be more honest with Mum. Brave whatever her reaction will be. Hiding the truth all the time extracts so much precious energy. And speaking of energy, Simon, why are you circumnavigating the room with that contraption?
Could it have anything to do with a certain cute Sparky coming over for dinner tomorrow?
Earth to flatmates? Why wasn't I told?
It's nothing. It was Viv's suggestion.
She really is the gift that keeps on giving.
You survived your time at her place then?
Yes, it was fine. I think she's just lonely.
You think? It's why we're so important to her.
Unsurprisingly, my mother really liked her.
Why do you say it like that, Steph?
Viv may not have kids, but she is still a quintessential parental figure. She can't help herself. She means well. most of the time.
She looks out for us. Like mine. I so miss having that protective layer of love from her. I think of my sweet mum every single day, every night.
It's such a chore to speak to mine once a year. Never felt protected by her. But Viv, yes, she'd have made a great parent. Aside from the cooking, housekeeping, talking, helping.
It would have given her more to focus on. Although my mother spent way too much time fixated on my brothers and I, why do parents feel the right to impose their values onto us?
I hear you, brother. It seems to come with their manual. I don't know about Viv. From what she's told us about the blob, can you imagine their spawn? You know, not everyone should be a parent just because they can.
Like the real estate agent, Pete's mother. I think she's possessed. I would have loved the opportunity to do an exorcism for her.
Is that another reason your chest expanding? Exorcising your body?
Again, William, I do the jokes around here.
Oh, Mikey, you are clearly the biggest joke in the household.
Steph plants a kiss on his head,
Mwah!
then exits.
As you were up all night, I will forgive that rear-ended compliment.
Backhanded. Okay, sorry, pal. I'll stick to being your straight man.
That's more like it. Wait, what's going on?
The kitchen, 8 p.m. Simon and Viv are in the nook.
I'm so sorry again for everything.
No worries, Viv. Red Rooster to the rescue.
I ballsed up today. Big balls up. It wasn't just the burnt meal. I was tipsy-turvy from start to finish.
Topsy-turvy?
Blimey, was I that bad?
It all ended up fine. And I had a bit of fun with the tradie boys. Especially the sexy one.
That skinny, scrappy lad. He wasn't sexy. Oh, what do I know? I'm married to the blob.
No need to scold yourself, Viv. You didn't know that Steph's mum was going to show up.
I said some really daft things. I cocked up big time.
Do I hear mentions of tackle? Meat and veg?
Mikey.
You're playing our song. Speaking my language.
Not the time, Mikey. Not the time.
I'm just feeling sorry for myself. Thank you for not judging me, Simon. I was asked to play a parent for one day, and I failed miserably.
May I ask, why did you not have children, Viv?
I couldn't get preggers. The blob is as the blob does. He has lazy sperm. They wouldn't swim even if they were being chased by jaws.
But there's other options.
Not back then, dolls. My biological clock stopped ticking. Actually, the buttons fell off. The hands began moving backwards. Whatever maternal instincts I once had are long gone.
I don't agree with that. From where I sit, you have clearly and lovingly adopted 3 unruly rat bags. And me.
That's my absolute pleasure, my beautiful cherub. Your mum would be so chuffed if she could see you today. Although, wearing girls' outfits, would she have approved?
I'd like to imagine so. I do know she wouldn't have minded having a son or a daughter. This way, she has both. I'm lucky. I got told I was loved. And often. Not everyone has that.
I wanted kids. Badly. But not meant to be.
The universe had other ideas, Viv. You have us. And we have you. You give the 4 of us everything we don't have, but need. And you're a cherub too. Our caring cherub. We're here for you, Viv.
Thank you, Pet. Okay, it's time for Vivi to skedaddle. My work here is done. Boy, is it ever. How did I manage to ruin that meal? I took my eyes off the stove for 1 minute and it ended up charred. No matter. I'll find an upside. The blob will eat it. I'll dim the lights. He'll never know. I'll say it was well done. The only thing that was well done today.
Viv gives a cheeky smile and takes her leave.
Stay tuned for the next enthralling episode.
The cast and crew from Friends of Dorothy.
You have been listening to Declan Clifford. That's me, as Mikey.
Tessa Nielsen voices the erudite Steph.
Soulful Simon is courtesy of River Stevens.
The character William is brought to you by Riley Nottingham.
Viv is crafted by Martine Halliday.
Hello, my name is Janet Watson-Cruz, and I've enjoyed inhabiting the role of Sylvia.
I'm Marie Barnett, and I've relished the part of Margaret.
Hi, my name is Tom Levi, and I was Pete the Apprentice.
The role of the charming Dougie was played by the much more likeable Darcy Halliday.
My name is Barry Michael, and the songs featured here were written and performed by me.
Recorded at Big Ears Audio by Adrian Ricciotti and Tony Lazzaro.
And a Real Voice LA by Mike DeLay.
And I'm Joanna Halliday, and I've been your storyteller. Friends of Dorothy was written, produced, directed, and edited by David Rector.
Thanks, Joanna. I'll pay you later.
Copyright 2024.